Hello, today I'm presenting Mimic on the Kuka robot. I will show how we can remote control the robot with track mode. I will show how we can record, tune and edit a new recording. And then I'll show how we can build a full program from multiple recordings. With Mimic we can remote control the robot using human motions. We can record motions and play them on the robot. We do this because human motions are great for many things. We are very dynamic and organic. We can adapt quickly, and in turn we can also record robot programs very quickly, even for complex pieces. I will show you how we can remote control the robot using track mode. In track mode, I can make the robot mimic my motions in real time. I can also limit the freedom of the robot. For example, I can limit all of the rotational axis. And this will help keep the same orientation or the same angle towards the workpiece at all times. If I move down to the workpiece, I can also limit the Z-axis, and now it's very easy to work in just one plane. We can still do complex and rounded motions in this plane. I'll enable the Z-axis again, and then we can try to scale the motions. If I scale the motions down to 0.2, now when I move the joystick, the robot will only move 20% of the distance I move the joystick. If instead I scale the motions up to ×2, now the robot will move twice the distance that I move the joystick. Now we'll show how we can record just the human motions of the joystick, and afterwards have the robot come down and play the same motions on my part. I'll go into teach mode, and teach mode will tell us that we need to align the tracker with the reference frame that I have set up down here. I will hit align tracker. And now I can place the tracker back on the joystick and record motions. So I will place myself above the piece. I will hit record and go down and record some motions on the workpiece here. And I will hit stop recording. I will give my recording a name. I'll just call it seat and save it. Then I will go to edit mode, where we can look through our recording and then we can make changes if needed. I'll move the robot to start position. And then we can use a couple of buttons on the joystick to move forwards in the recording or backwards in the recording. I can change how fast we move through the recording. I'll set down the speed to 0.25. And then it's easier for me to go through the recording and see exactly where I want to make edits. Now, one thing about human motions in contrast to robots is that we are not very consistent and we're not very precise. For the consistency, I just cannot move my hands in a continuous speed, in a constant speed. But this is very easy for a robot to uphold. So if I go into the speed tab here. I forward the robot until I hit the workpiece. And now I want the robot to go at a constant speed, and I will let it go at 100 millimeters per second. I'll hit override robot speed, and now everything that I forward over will have the constant 100 millimeters per second when we play the robot program later. I can also go in and edit the positions. So if I go back to the position tab, you'll see here that we have the same possibility of scaling the motions. Now I want to make small and accurate adjustments. So to do that, I will scale down the motions to 0.1. And I don't want to change the angle here. I think the angle hit pretty good. So I will disable all of the rotational axis. And actually I just wanted to move a little bit closer to the workpiece. So the only axis that I will have enabled is the Z axis. Then I can hold a button on the joystick and move the robot down just a bit. And let's forward again. Now, one thing that I forgot actually is if I wanted to turn on my tool, one way of doing it is that it can be in the recording, but I can also, in edit mode, I can also go to the outputs tab and I can hit override outputs and turn on the output for the tool. Same as in the speed tab where we override the speed. Now we can override part of the path where the tool should be turned on. So everything that I forward over now will trigger the tool output when we play the recording. So then I forward through the recording. I will turn up the speed. Oh, actually here I think I want to edit the orientation. So I will turn off all of the positional axis and enable the rotational axis. And then I will fix the orientation. There we go. It looks better. Now this orientational change as a result of the height adjustment we made earlier. But using this method of editing the positions, we can make very accurate motions. We can make sure that the robot hits exactly where we want it to hit on the piece and exactly the angle that we want it to hit. Because everything that we see during the editing here is how the robot will play the motions. Right, and now when I lift off the workpiece, I no longer care to go at a constant speed. And we'll see down here on the progress bar that we now have a green marking on the part where we have the constant speed. Above the speed marking, we can also see red markings for all of the positional edits that we have done. And I'll go to the Outputs tab because I want to turn off the tool. There we go, and we'll see that we have a yellow marking showing where we have edited whether the tool should be turned on or off. I'll just forward through the rest of the recording. See that everything looks fine. Yeah? Great, and I will save this again. Now I'll go back to the home screen. And we can see that we now have a new recording called Seed. If I hit the play button, we'll be taken to the runtime screen. And from here I can hit play and we'll see the final result of our recording. We'll see here how the robot moves at a constant speed that is much faster than the speed I recorded at. Alright, so now I saw that perhaps the speed I chose was a bit too fast. So I will go back into the seed recording. I will hit the edit icon. I will go to the start position and forward until the point where I edited the speed. Down here. Then I will go to the speed tab and I will change the speed to a lower value. I will change it to 20 millimeters per second and hit override robot speed. Now, same as before, I will go forward throughout the recording and forward over everything that I want to go at this constant 20 millimeter per second speed. Right, and then I will stop overriding the speed, just forward to the end of the recording, and I will hit save. Now, when we run the recording, we'll see that it runs with this much slower speed. It looks a bit more smooth and also a lot smoother than the motions that I can do. So now we have a recording on the big surface of the seat. Next, I will make a recording that follows the edge of the seat. So I will go back into teach mode, and it tells me that we have to place the tracker down in the calibration plate. And I will hit align tracker. And we can place it back on the joystick and start recording. I will start recording above the piece and then move down to a good starting position and follow the edge around. this and stop the recording. I will save this recording as seat edge and hit save. Now we will go to edit mode and we'll go to the start position. I will forward until the tool has contact with the piece. This time I won't edit the height, but I will edit the speed. This time with a slower speed of 10 millimeters per second. And hit override robot speed. I will also turn on the tool. And then I will forward over the recording. I will see now that the angle is pretty good because we didn't make any adjustments in the beginning of the program. All right, and when we lose contact with the piece, I will turn off the tool and I will turn off the constant speed. And we can see both the green speed marking and the yellow output marking above the progress bar. Just make sure to forward to the end of the recording and then hit save. Great. Let's first have a look at how this recording looks when the constant speed is applied. We'll see here that the robot moves a lot smoother than I can do by hand. Now that we have a couple of recordings for our chair here, we can put these recordings together in a full program. If I go to my library here, I will have all of my recordings listed on the left side, and I can go and create a new program from these recordings. I cheated a little bit and made a home position off camera. So if I put that in first, and then I want to work on the surface of the seat. Afterwards, I want to work on the edge of the seat. And last, I want the robot to move back home. I will call this program chair. Hit save program and run my program. So on the runtime screen, we will now be presented with the recordings that are in the program. When I hit play, we can see how far we have gotten into the program.